Okay, let's see. Hi, Ali. How is everybody doing? There she is. She's in here now. All right, I'm gonna get started. Okay. Thank you guys for joining in. We're just connecting with her. There she is. All right.
Hi.
There we go. Yeah, it's a new thing for everybody. I'm very curious to see like how live is gonna go after quarantine. Like, is it still gonna be the same thing? Is it gonna like slow down? Like, I don't know. I kind of like doing these actually. I was so nervous about doing them, but now I'm like, oh my god, let's
Oh,
do
so
live.
was
Like,
I the first time. I'm like, ugh, I hate being like the one on camera. I'm a good behind the
right,
scenes.
right, yeah.
But yeah, no,
Okay,
I think it'll be interesting to see where the whole industry goes with this.
yeah, exactly. Okay, so everybody, thank you for joining in. This is Francisca. She is a makeup artist. She is based in Texas. We worked with her for several years, even before I joined the agency, and I've been with the agency for 3 years. Just going to do some 20 questions with Francisca, and if there's anybody that wants questions to her, you can feel free to chime in. We'll try to jump to them as much as possible. Of course, as everybody knows, that we only have 1 hour for lives. So the first question I have is, what made you get into the industry as a makeup artist?
um, I think it literally goes all the way back to like the time I was 16. I was a teenager during the 80s when supermodels just hit the scene.
Hmm.
So it was Kevin O'Quan and Pat McGrath, and I just fell in love with editorial. I wasn't really sure like what I wanted to do as far as that went, but I knew
Yeah.
that I loved the picture that was created. Like I'd have editorial magazine spreads all over my walls, and it's just
Hmm.
always been a passion.
Right. So who are some of your beauty influencers in the makeup industry?
It's like really hard to narrow.
Yeah,
My
you sent
all
me like
time,
five.
and I
I'm
have
like
so
top
many
three.
more. Um, so my guru is Kevin O'Quan. Um, he again, when the supermodels uh, came to the scene, he was the makeup artist that was the go-to, and he
Hmm.
basically kind of revolutionized makeup. All the different looks that he created, and like literally morphing people, where he would just create, I mean, he'd make women into men, and he would do a lot of celebrity looks, but they were like full transformations, and taught us how to contour and highlight, and just his work is beautiful. I like own all of his books.
Hmm.
So he's always been a heavy influence. Francois Nars, for several reasons. Again, he was huge on the editorial scene. I think he had the most Vogue covers than any other makeup artist.
Hmm.
And he was really about kind of projecting natural beauty. And so
Hmm.
everything was brought out in the skin.
Hmm.
And working for NARS, that's one of our big things. It's like skin is everything.
Uh-huh.
And then anything else is just adage to that. Um, let's see. I have everything written down because I knew I'd forget. Sarah Lucero, who is the global artist for Stila. I worked with
Hmm.
Stila for 5 years, and I actually got the pleasure of speaking with her, which was like an all time wonderful thing.
Right.
Again, just her makeup was just really about kind of bringing out that inner beauty. And in a time where people were getting very heavily into like the Kardashian look with heavy contour and highlight and everything like that, I mean, she still kept it simple. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And I guess that's kind of the difference between say your regular makeup and Instagram makeup in comparison to what your editorial makeup is or your runway makeup.
Right.
Um, so another one is, let's see, Jenny Smith, and she's actually the global artist for NARS. and she
Okay.
is located in New York. And she
Okay.
was another one that I got to speak to just last week, which was really, really awesome. I love her technique on everything because she's like my age, so she like can go like hardcore punk rock with the look and still make it like just gritty and like completely groovy and just for the time. And um
Mm-hmm.
let's see, Pat McGrath. uh
Okay.
I don't even know that I need to say anything about her. She's a legend.
Right.
um you know,
When you
just
gave me that one, I was like, oh, I know that one.
yeah, I mean, her work is just stunning all the way around. And then Rochard, I I love him because he puts out the craziest looks you've ever seen, and they're
Yeah.
just so like detailed, and just the technique in them is just gorgeous. So I mean, I like I said, there's so many, but all of them have influenced me in big ways.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I totally like that last one. I was looking at his page and I was like, oh, like very editorial, very like fashion. Like I love that and I appreciate that him and just me with my own personal background in the fashion industry and obviously me as an agent, like definitely like his work. Let's see, the
Which
next
I'll
one I
let you
have.
guys know if you're like interested. I think if you go to April Love Pro Makeup Academy, I think she will be doing a live with Rochard soon. So that would be something like to tune in for because he really is greatness.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice. Good to know. Let's see, you have a background as being an educator for a few brands. What brands are you currently or previously been an educator for?
So I've been in the makeup industry for about 21 years. So I started off working counters and just kind of built my way, and then I really wanted to work for Mac. And that's when I was introduced to freelancing. So I was actually with Mac as a freelance artist for 12 years.
Okay.
And that's where I learned most of my techniques, just from other artists and watching and asking questions and just absorbing it all. And then I went on to become an educational artist for Stila. And that is actually where I got introduced to runway. I started doing runway shows with them out here in Dallas. And that was an incredible experience. I learned a lot from them. And for me, I felt like it was a better fit. Like with Mac, I always felt like I had a lighter hand. And so I think Stila was that perfect match for me in terms of like what I was trying to express in my makeup.
Okay.
Um, and then I currently work for NARS. I've been with them for 4 years,
Okay.
and I'm an educational artist and trainer. So I go into stores in different locations and train the employees, like the Sephora cast, and let them know all our new products and everything else. And, you know, do makeup there and events and everything else. So it's been a wonderful experience, and
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of given me the ability to get the best of both worlds, I guess, like working the retail end of it and seeing what like everyday customers are looking for and how looks are changing via Instagram, and knowing products, because one of the great things about that is I get to play with all of the stuff and know like what works best and what I want to put in my kit, you know. And so it's just it's been wonderful. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's as far as educational.
Yeah.
I also
Jihan
teach
asked
at
a
a
question.
modeling school out here too. So,
Oh, do you?
mm-hmm.
Okay.
um,
Like, what is that like? Like, what's your role with that?
so that's actually been a really enriching experience for me. It's, you know, these classes, and I get the girls that are in the modeling classes, and it's teaching them makeup technique, and when they go to casting calls, like what
Yeah.
type of look to create for themselves. And I mean, all the girls are always just really excited to learn like everything about it. Like they want to know about that life because it's what they're training to go into. So when I talk about Fashion Week and everything. I mean, there's questions all over the place like, oh, okay, so like, how do you do this? And, you know, what do the models do and what types of hours and just the whole thing. So it's been a really great experience and really just made me realize how much I love teaching.
Hmm. All right. Oh, that's good. I didn't know that you were in a modeling school teaching that kind of thing. I think that's very important because a lot of models kind of like, especially when you go to like a e-com casting and, it's very minimal to natural makeup and some people don't understand that. And I think that's good that you are in that role to be able to teach that to them because it's very important. And then obviously each casting has this different kind of looks that they want you to go in there wearing. And then especially some test shoots, some models have to do their own makeup and sometimes they may not understand it. Not every girl knows how to
Exactly.
do their makeup. So
And I
Jihan
always
asked,
try to tell them to keep it, I mean, enhance your features because we're all different and we all have unique features. So play up
right,
on those. If you have great eyes, play up your eyes. If you've seen beautiful lips, play up the lips, you know. But I feel like when you're doing casting calls, I feel like they want to the real you. You know what I mean? Like
mm,
I don't think they want to see a ton of makeup on you because they need to see what they're working with. So just creating
exactly.
a look that enhances your own natural beauty.
Right. Jihan asked a question earlier. What's your favorite red lip? I mean, obviously you work with so many different brands.
My
Which ones?
favorite red lip.
Yes.
Okay, it would hands down Cruella from NARS. That is my like, I mean, everybody has a red. Like some people say, oh, I can never wear red. No, everyone can. It's just
Right.
finding the one that goes with you. But that is my all time favorite.
Uh-huh. Okay. Let's see. Hmm. What are some of your go-to beauty palettes that you have? What are the products and utensils that you use that like is in your kit for a and does it I'm sure it changes whether it's like a runway show you're doing or an editorial test shoot that you're doing or a client that you're working with like what are like some of your go-to that is always in your kit?
So unfortunately, like I told you, I've been moving, so I have like boxes of stuff out. Um, so a lot of the time or over time, I create my own palette. So, I mean, like something like this is my neutrals, and I'll always use this for every single look that I ever do,
Hmm.
Um, this is all my NARS colors and typically, I will pack this on every shoot because I can pretty much like create any type of look that I want to with that. Um, Tarte, uh, they're one of their original palettes. Let's see if I can find it. Um, is like one of my all-time favorites. I love the Moira ones too. And we got these like at Fashion Week. And again, like you said, like if we're provided sponsorships, then we use the products that are there.
Okay.
So a lot of the stuff that I have used there, I have added to my kit because I've fallen in love with some of the products. Like Moira concealers are like one of the best I've ever used.
Hmm.
Um, NARS Creamy Radiant Concealer is my all-time favorite. If you tend to be dry under the eyes or if you have lines or any of that, it's just the consistency and it is so creamy that it's not going to settle under all of that, and it adds a brightness and a color correction to it. So I like everything. I have everything in the sun, like in my kit, and there's
Hmm.
just products that I will always go to like for every look. So
Okay.
those are pretty much, yeah. Most of my blushes are either NARS or MAC. I do love cream uh, blushes. I'll use that all the time before I actually add a powder, just to give that like softness and glow to the skin. And
Hmm.
then go ahead and just put a light powder on top of that because I really am more about like the natural radiance and the glow. So everything cream I tend to work with.
Okay. Nice. All right. Let's see. The next one I have is how would you describe your beauty? So how would you describe your makeup style overall? I know it obviously changes for each client, each job, each model. Every storyboard is different for each job that you do. But like overall, if you had to describe it, like how would you describe it? Is it more like an editorial? Is it more like simple? A lot of
It's
colors?
definitely editorial, and I think it just goes back to like what I was saying, like with Francois Nars. I really, really, really make it about the skin first, because if you can create that perfect palette, anything else is just a bonus.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just getting that skin to look as beautiful as you possibly can, and then kind of going from there. And from there, you can create a natural look, or you can create a smoky eye, or you can go crazy and do just like a complete, like, I mean, dramatic look. And,
Mm-hmm.
as long as you've got that beautiful skin going on, it's
Mm-hmm.
all of it just always just comes together. So that
Okay.
would always be my first. And skin prepping is 90% of makeup application, I
Okay.
feel.
All right. Let's see. What's one of your worst experiences on a shoot? Um, you don't have to necessarily give names. I always love asking this question. Like this is like so far you're my third person that I've done this with, and I always ask that question to everybody because everybody has a different perspective, and it's definitely a way that we can obviously teach people and like let them know people who are like watching now or watching later just because most of our people are models and actors and stuff like that. And it's just like there's just some people obviously who may feel entitled or may like not know what to do, may not feel very confident. So I always have to ask these questions because obviously it can speak to somebody on
Right.
like what to do, what not to do, how to approach different things and stuff like that. So, and of course, Jihan's in the comments, name them. She always wants the name. She always wants to know who we talking about. So give me an experience that you had that was like not so great, and how did you fix it? How did you work around it?
Um, so my very first shoot with Envy was with Nala Wayans, and
Mm-hmm.
I we did it in Palos Verdes, and so there's like a hike going down to the water,
Okay.
and I did amazing on the hike, but when I got to the bottom, I had my kit that had wheels on it, and if anybody's been out to Palos Verdes, you know that before you get to the water, there's just a whole sector of rocks.
Mm-hmm.
So I was trying to like tug my bag because it kept getting stuck in between the rocks. And then my ankle just like went over like that. So I fell and I couldn't feel anything, but I heard a crack. So I was working with Carlos, which is a photographer that I've done tons of shoots with at MB. And I was like, I don't know if I sprained or broke something. I said, but I heard a crack. So when I stood up, like I definitely knew something was wrong. And then I think it was like within 3 minutes, my ankle blew up like a grapefruit.
Whoa.
But so he was like, we don't have to do this. I'm like, I flew in from Texas. This shit
Right.
is happening right now. I went and got seaweed, wrapped it around my ankle. I had to do body paint on her. So I was able to sit down and do her makeup, but I had to stand up to do her body paint. And it turns out that my ankle was broken in two spots. And he was like, the cartilage was gone and everything. I don't know how you were standing, but it was like I couldn't hike back up. The paramedics had to come. They had to throw me over their shoulder and hike me back.
So dramatic. You just want all
So
the
that was my
attention.
first experience with envy.
Hmm. That was before my time. And then I'm gonna
Yeah.
put that out there. That was before my time. I was not the agent that booked that job. So yeah, I'm just
But
putting
it
it
was
out there.
worth it because the end product was so beautiful. Like,
Right.
I loved the shoot I did with her.
All right. Let's see. The next one we have.
Yeah, it was ride or die, and I was gonna ride.
I love this question. Makeup on males or females, which is better and easier for you and more interesting, and why?
So I think it depends on the look you're doing. I mean, obviously, if you're going to do drag makeup for someone, it's going to be the same application that you would do for women. But generally, if I'm doing runway, men are always the easiest because most of the time, the designers do not want them to look like they are wearing makeup. So for us, it's basically if they have dark circles, patting in some concealer, um, maybe, I mean, doing a moisturizer, I tend to do Embryolisse a lot because it works as a moisturizer and a primer for them. So it
Mm-hmm.
just kind of hydrates that skin and makes it a little more alive for them. And some brow brush, really. And you can do just a tad bit of powder. But again, when you're doing runway, um, you always kind of want to be careful with the powder because of lighting and whatnot. So they are definitely the quickest. Like there'll be times April will be like, okay, you're on men completely. And it's just one right after the other. So
Right, right.
they're definitely easier.
Right. Okay. So hopping on to that next question I have is male models. A lot, obviously, like no makeup. Like they don't understand that they need it for shoots and runways and things like that. Like, what are some like pointers, real quick, that you can say about that? Like, or maybe you had an experience where you had to convince a male model, like, no, you do need makeup. Like, just trust me. And then obviously it was a positive outcome. Like,
Well, it's a funny story because it just actually happened this spring. I was doing makeup for headshots, but it was like a big convention and I flew out to California for it. And all the men there saw that there was a makeup artist and there'd be a couple that would come and then everyone else was like egging them on. They're like, oh yeah, you know, you can get all pretty and whatnot, just joking and like wouldn't have anything to do with it.
mm-hmm.
Day two, if I sent you video and pictures, I had a line clear out the door because every man was like, oh yeah, can you please touch me up? Can you? And the thing is for men, what they don't realize is, I mean, we're not going to sit there and put lipstick on you, you know,
Right.
it's being camera ready. And there's just simple basics that make you camera ready. So putting that concealer under your eyes so that that's not completely blowing up and showing there. Moisturizing, you know, so that you aren't picking up on texture anywhere. If you do have to apply any type of powder or, you know, light concealer or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still very manly.
Mm-hmm.
You're just getting camera ready. So,
Right.
for men, it's really simple. Like invest in some good skincare.
Right.
That's pretty much it. Get your brows done if you can. And that's
Good tips. Thank you for that. Let's see. Do you ever scout for models? Like I know, I mean, last week I had some chats with some photographers, and obviously they are always scouting and looking for some good faces, new faces for them to shoot. But as a makeup artist, like, do you scout, and what's the process for you when you scout for models or talents that you're like, oh, I really like your face, your bone structure. Like, what's that like?
so. I mean, starting off, um, I scouted a lot of them because I was doing my own shoots. Like I needed to put material out there. So I was going to make that happen. And so I was kind of a one man band for a while. So I would do the makeup, I would do the hair, I would do you know, wardrobe, all of it. And it's funny what I started off thinking, like I always thought like, oh, I'll just get someone with like perfect skin or this type of look and it'll be really easy. Um,
Right.
but then I started to realize as I worked on more and more people, like I don't have a certain look anymore. I find just, like I said, people are so uniquely beautiful and being able to work with different features and faces is more my thing. So I never like set out to find a particular look anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just kind of uh, kind of go with it. Like I mean if it's something where I feel like okay, I absolutely need a brunette in here or something, then I'll do that. But other than that, it's it makes it more interesting for me because it's always when you see the finished product, you're just like, oh wow, like I had no idea that, you know, she would look like that. And, you know, it's not that they're not beautiful in the first place. It's just, you know, just like I said, the finished product afterwards. So I don't have a look. And especially
Hmm.
after working like Fashion Week, you really don't like at all anymore because you have so many different faces.
Hmm. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Obviously, question: how's quarantine going for you, and have you picked up on any quarantine challenges around the makeup challenges and stuff?
Um, yeah, it's been, I mean, it's been difficult for everyone in my industry right now. We are obviously not essential workers,
Hmm.
and we have to be in people's faces and we have to touch their faces. And you know, for me, last New York Fashion Week, I kind of figured this was going to be the last for a bit. I didn't know how bad it was going to be, but the, you know, corona was already going on in China.
Hmm.
So it just, they don't know exactly what they're going to do because like all the retail stores that carry beauty products don't have an like a date to when they're going to open up, and a lot of them are thinking that they might have to take a lot of this business online, because our industry was kind of struggling a bit prior to this. So
Hmm.
it didn't really help in that sense as far as the retail end goes. So it's going to kind of be interesting to see what does happen. But as of now, like none of us are being told that we're even close to being back in stores or anything like that. And I know LA Fashion Week had been canceled. So
Hmm.
I mean, I think I'm like everyone else right now. There's just a lot of I don't knows.
Right.
So just kind of seeing what happens.
What do you think, jumping on that same question, in your role, what do you think is going to happen going forward with these jobs and projects and stuff like that? You know, like, you know, when you got like some campaign or some shoot coming up, obviously there's always as a makeup artist, a hairstylist, and a wardrobe stylist on set. Like, how do you feel your role as a makeup artist is going to be post quarantine?
Um, I
Sorry to
do
put you on the
think that
spot
we're
like
going
that.
to. Um, I mean, I'm going to be honest. It's scary right now because I don't know if our positions are going to exist. Just because, like I said, I don't know how long this is all going to be going on,
Right.
and you know, it's like the Instagram lives. I think all of us are trying to find creative ways to build our business. And a lot of that has to do with social media. So
Hmm.
it's just so tricky with makeup though, because, you know, there aren't weddings going on. There aren't photo shoots going on. So, I mean, there's nothing for us right now. So, I don't know. I really don't like, I wish I had an answer, but
Like, do you see like, you know, health protection stuff on set, obviously, like with the mask and with like the gloves and like constantly cleaning your utensils on set and stuff like that? Like, do you see that like probably being something that slowly step back into it?
I think honestly for us, it's going to have to be like a little more stringent than that because, I mean, when we're using products like lipsticks and things like that, like everything is going to have to be fully sanitized. And I mean, I don't mean spraying alcohol on a lipstick. It means scraping that piece off, or I don't know if you trash it after that, you know. I
Oh,
think
wow.
the temperature taking, I think once they start getting test available to people, I think that's when they'll start venturing into our industry. Um, so, I mean, in the meantime, I would even be scared to do it right now, honestly, just
Hmm.
because, I mean, it is so one on one. And, you know, again, I wish I had answers because I've been like going through the
Right.
questions in my head every day.
All right.
But you know,
Yeah.
for me, I've kind of like with everything I've been doing as far as like teaching in the educational realm, and I've also gotten into a lot of like inner beauty, if you will. And you know, my big goal is to open up my own studio in California. And I want to
Mhm.
make it a complete beauty wellness place. And I mean, I'm talking like your one stop shop, you know, you come in for your everything, for your yoga, for your pranic healing. You come in for your facials that are done with organic products, and you get your massage done on a bed of crystals, you know, like just
Mhm.
the whole thing. I mean, that's my long-term goal, just because I feel like beauty just isn't about the outside. It really does come from within. And that's a
Mhm.
lot that I try to teach the girls too, is that, you know, you're the one that's got to go out there and rock it. And you've got to
Right.
sell yourself. But, you know, that comes from being confident with who you are. And if
Right.
you are, you're going to project that. So I think it's
Right.
all intertwined.
Okay. Nice. Yeah. I totally can see that all happening. Let's see. Social media. Social media is a very big way. Obviously, a lot of people stay connected, you know, reaching out to work together, collaborate, and stuff like that. What for you, or maybe just as a makeup artist per se, you know, what are some proper etiquettes when like a model or actor is trying to reach out to you, like your work, and like wants to collaborate and work with you and stuff like that? Like for you, what are some etiquettes, real quick, some tips that you have that work for you, that don't work for you, that rubs you off the wrong way?
I'm pretty easy. Like if people want to work with me, I'm like, okay, let's do it, you know? um, but I'm big on collaboration. Like I am always preaching that. Particularly, well, I mean, it's in any industry, but I never understand the premise of trying to do it all on your own. Like I
Right.
feel like when you come together and collaborate, you get so many different perspectives on a project. So something that you may not have thought of or envisioned, someone else can bring that to the table. And if you just like
Mm-hmm.
kind of let everybody do their thing, it turns out magical. And you
Right.
know, that's not something you could bring to the table all by yourself. So I'm always up for collaborations, because I think they're just like the best experiences. And I don't really see myself shunning anyone unless they were, I mean, just weird and I should shun them because they're, you know, but um no, I think that you always get such a better result. And that's why I'm always just like, we need to like literally just uplift each other in this industry, because if one makes it, guess what? We all make it, you know?
Right.
And
Right.
so yeah.
Okay.
Um but I honestly would say like never be afraid to ask, because fear will keep you from accomplishing your dreams. And when I started off, it was through social media, and I was reaching out to photographers, and I was flying out to LA and, you know, doing shoots with no pay, just because one, like I said, I wanted to develop a profile, but second, the experience of it all, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's a lot of people that don't understand that you can't start from the top.
Right.
So you know, you've got to put yourself out there, you know. And it was scary, like no one wants to be rejected, but guess what? The worst you're ever going to hear is no, and then you move
Mm-hmm.
on.
Right.
So
Good. So you've worked in a couple of different fashion weeks, obviously from New York to LA and others. Um, Pros and cons, differences, same from each coast. Obviously, different designers showcase in different markets, but like, how do you feel how that's like with the models, with the event itself?
So I have been very fortunate. I love every single model that I've worked with. Like they have been completely precious. And I keep in contact with most of them, which is awesome. And you know, they'll send me messages. Hey, what should I use with this? Or are you going to be in town? Can we work together? And Fashion Week has been the most, I guess, important and educational experience for me, because it is a completely different monster.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be quick, like extremely quick. And you do have to learn how to work under insane pressure, because, I mean, you've been backstage, you know what it looks like. I mean, people switching out shows and you've got to do a complete makeup
Yes.
change. The last Fashion Week I was at, it was like we went from, one look was like, I think it was like all black all over the eyes and whatnot. And then the models had to do a quick change in 5 minutes that went to an 80s crazy psychedelic look. So you are back there just like, just wipe, you know, get it down. I mean, you learn how to work under that pressure, and it has made it so incredibly easy to work under any other situation. And
Right.
I'm lucky because I have an incredible teacher. April Love has just, she's amazing. And what she puts together and how she's able to run everything there, and the things we have learned and techniques, and just the whole team in general, like, it has been, I mean, I could never get that type of experience anywhere else, I don't think. And I'm so grateful to do it all the time, because, I mean, since I was 16, New York Fashion Week was my goal, my bucket
Mm-hmm.
list. So when she reached out to me and told me, I remember it was right before Christmas. It was the week of Christmas. I mean, I flipped. I was in tears. My kids were jumping up and down with me. I mean, it was everything,
Right.
and the experience was nothing short of amazing, and it never is. Like,
Right.
yeah.
Oh, good. 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 Um, Next question is: who on the Envy roster, current or past, um, that were your favorite to shoot with? And as I pull up the photos, explain a little bit about it.
Um, Again, that was a crazy hard pick. Um, so Jasmine, um, that shoot was just beautiful. Like, I mean,
I
when I sent you
loved
the
it.
pictures, I
When
remember
you
your
sent me the
reaction.
photos, I think I was like sitting at my desk, and like, I know sometimes I'm a little over dramatic when things like that happen. I remember I jumped up and I had some colorful choice of words, not in a negative way, but like, oh my God, this is what I've been wanted. I remember I FaceTime her and I told her, I was like, she's like, do you love it? And I was like, yes. I remember I told you too, I was like, can we get something different with her hair? Because her whole portfolio, her hair is down. Like
Yeah.
she always wears it down. I was like, we need to show variety looks in her portfolio. And yes, when I saw that, I was like, this.
Yeah, she has great features. So, just when I saw the dress, I was like, okay, this for some reason just like screams exotic to me, just
Yeah.
classy exotic. So I wanted to keep it very just classic. And I don't know. I think all that kept going through my head was like Frida Kahlo. Like, it really did. And
Yeah.
I mean, those are kind of the weird things that happen when we're kind of like staring at a face and like, okay, what do I want to do here? But yeah, and the photography was just beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was one of my favorites. And Jasmine's awesome. I love her. She's a sweetheart. Um, let's see. Zoe Adamson.
Okay.
Um, I saw an editorial. I was going through like old Vogue and Bazaar editorials, and I saw one with someone like in a pool, and the way the dress was flowing was what I liked. So
Mm-hmm.
I kind of wanted to recreate that. And, I figured a nighttime shoot, and let's make it very sexy. And,
Mm-hmm.
So I did, you know, like glitter and just smoky eyes, and I wanted to make it just really kind of sultry, and it was a beautiful shoot. It was a long shoot. I remember. I don't think we finished till like midnight. But and it was very interesting just to see the techniques that were used too. I mean, doing the camera underwater and trying to get
Oh, I
those
didn't know
shots in
that.
there. Yeah. So LA Dot Film and Photography, he was working with me on this one, and yeah, it was a lot of underwater pams, and so that was, it was just, it was new and it was neat. It felt like innovative to do. So really, really enjoyed that shoot, and I
Hmm.
still keep in contact with Zoe too. Um, Next one, let's see. I'm trying to remember all the ones I sent because there's been like so many. Oh,
This was
Nala
Nala is the
Reyes.
next one. Yes.
Um, yeah, that one just, I felt like I don't know, I was just kind of going with the background on the beach, and I wanted to create something just kind of, I don't know what word I want to use.
Is this the one
Primal. I
when
wanted
you
it primal.
broke your ankle?
Yeah.
Oh, this is the one. Okay.
Yeah. So all that body paint there, yeah, I was standing up brushing that on. Um, but I think I'm always going to remember this for so many reasons. Again, it was my very first shoot. I mean, I was excited about working with the Wayans family. And it was just exciting. So
Hmm.
that was why that was one of my favorite. Um, the next one we have
It's all you sent me was those three. Is there
those three.
more?
Okay.
Yeah, just those three.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see, the next one we have is um but you haven't been like into the
Thank
LA like to
you,
do test shoot in a while, but like
baby Coco
who
or Coco.
who is who currently on our roster, maybe somebody you saw on our Instagram that you're like, oh, I wanna shoot with them next time I'm in LA.
I actually haven't, like, I'm horrible with names, period. Like period. So it takes me a year to learn anybody's. um I've seen faces, but I haven't got to sit down and really like look at who they were. But I always see people that I'm like, ooh, yeah, I want to do this, or an idea will
Mhm.
pop in my head. So, um, anyone really, I love, I no, I think I sent one of Angelica. That was the other one that I really, or maybe I didn't send it to you.
You didn't send me one, Angelica.
I want to work with her again.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
I really enjoyed working with her, and I don't know, I love that agency period. Like every model I've worked with has just been amazing, but you know that.
Let's see. You kind of answered this one, but what's your best achievement thus far? Client, published work, test shoot, or a
Hmm,
client, or anything? Like, what do you feel is like your most like number one top job that you've done?
that's really hard. So obviously Fashion Week, but from the work that I've done there, like I've gotten publications with Vogue China and Bazaar and Mary Claire and Elle, and so seeing that is such an accomplishment to me, because again, I grew up loving all of that, and in the back of my mind I was always like, oh my god, I wish, you know, I could do that. So when it's actually happening, you're like, wow, you know, I
Hmm.
did this, you know, and
Right.
I think that's probably what I'm proudest of, just because I know the blood, sweat, and tears that went into getting to that point. So
Right.
yeah, that for me, and honestly, it's just, there's so many. All of it has felt like just a big accomplishment to me. So, you know, I'm just always
Mhm.
looking for the next step.
All right. Okay. Let's see. First thing you're gonna do once out of quarantine. It doesn't have to be industry related.
Greet everybody. I don't know. I want to go back to work. I miss work. Like I really miss work. I don't know if a lot of people understand, but like when you're doing what you love, it isn't work. It's
Yeah.
your passion. And when you do have things going on, for a lot of people, your art is how you express yourself or how you sort through that. And for me, everything that I create, it's how I want to see the world. Like it's the beauty that I want to bring out. And so I definitely miss that a lot. And I just miss the one-on-one and working with teams and working with people. And it gets lonely.
Hmm. Yeah.
um, so yeah, I think work would be the first, just because, like I said, I love it and I miss it, and I can only do so many looks on myself. So,
Good point. Good point. Um, where do you want to be? Long term, short term goals.
um, short-term goals. I think I mean, if you would have asked me this pre-quarantine, the answer may have been different. Right now, just getting stable with work somewhere, whatever that happens to be. And um, I'm sure that'll happen. We've just all got to be a
Right.
little patient with it all. Long term, um, just what I told you, like, I would really like to see myself. I like the picture in my head is, okay, out in LA when people are getting ready for the Oscars or they're getting ready for the Grammys or whatnot, because I haven't done a red carpet yet. So that's kind of one of my goals. Um,
Okay.
if you have a place where you can just have everything done, your whole prep for everything, and let's be real, in California, I mean, they eat all of this up. I mean, everyone is into meditations and, just alternative living. And it's if you can go in and get pampered and then get your chakras cleared, and you can
Mm-hmm.
meditate or do your yoga and then have people pampering you and be able to create your own products there and whatnot, like, to me that is all inclusive.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing that I know I want to do is I want to make people feel beautiful. I want them to feel good about themselves. I want them to see the beauty within themselves. So, again, I don't believe that physical beauty is the end point there. Like, if anything,
Mm-hmm.
this has taught me I want to learn all aspects of beauty and just intertwine that and create something different and special. And yeah, and I think I'll do
Okay.
it. Like, I can't see why
Right.
not.
Right. Totally. Totally. And then last advice you can give to aspiring makeup artists that may be watching this that want to do the same stuff that you have done. Get into like the runway looks, the editorial look, like any tips you can give them who may be watching or watching later.
um, throw fear out. Um, I believe that that's the only thing, it's the greatest thing that stops us from accomplishing anything. But I would rather be the person that goes out there and fails at the attempt than sitting back asking myself, could I have done this? Or would I have been something different? And be persistent. You're gonna have bad moments. You're gonna get clients that might not be happy with your work. You're going to work in situations where you are being, like, yelled at in a crazy environment because you have to get someone out on the stage immediately or whatnot. And the thing is you can't take those experiences personally. Always take them as a learning experience. And if you can
Mm-hmm.
learn to do that, then you'll get back up, and you'll have it as a lesson, and it's going to
Hmm.
make you a better artist, and it's going to make you a better person.
Right.
And don't be afraid to reach out. Like I said, the worst you're ever going to hear is no. So, do it. Like, you're the only one that's going to make your dreams come true. So,
Right.
um, be proactive, get on social media. I mean, social media is how I created, um, my career. I can literally say, like, I owe it to Instagram, because I made it a point when I wasn't at work to have a second job. And that was literally just doing everything I could on social media to get my work out there, contact
Right.
photographers, contact agencies. I heard no about a million times. And, but eventually you'll hear the yes. So
Right.
just keep at it.
Right. Okay. And then where can people find you? What platforms do you use? Social media platforms do you use?
So I'm Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, and TikTok. But guys, don't judge me on my TikToks, because I'm 47 and I'm learning this stuff. And yeah, I don't know. I like have to go to my son. I'm like, please teach me, because I don't know what I'm doing. So yeah, you can, and I'm on LinkedIn, and if you go to my bio on my Instagram page, I have a Linktree link that just directs you to all of it. I also have a
Yeah.
YouTube channel that I'm trying to get going right now. So go subscribe, Artistry by Francisca. I'm trying to build a base there, which kind of with this quarantine, what I decided I wanted to do, just because I work with so many people in the same position in industry, um, I wanted to be able to bring them on here, and that's why I started doing lives, to help them build their businesses, to help get the word out there for them. So a lot of what
Hmm.
I'm doing is kind of showing you different artists, and I'm showing you different people. Like, I have an esthetician lined up. I have people with different skincare lines. And that's one of the bonuses I do have with being in the industry that I've been in for so long. I mean, I know the account executives, I know the global artist, so, having them come up, and again, that goes back to collaboration. They can show you a million different things that I won't be able to show you, but like, let's make it all inclusive. Let's build each other up. Let's help everybody get through this really hard time, and
Right.
see what happens.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. We got a few questions in the pin, so let me open this up.
Okay.
Or maybe not, because I don't know.
I ate him.
Okay. Do you consider beauty gurus, parentheses, beauty gurus or makeup influencers to be on the same level as pro makeup artists?
So there's been an ongoing controversy about this in my industry. So when YouTube influencers came into the picture, it did do a lot to our industry. Um, just basically because people who have been in the industry forever and are makeup artists, it kind of felt like anyone could go on there and say, hi, I'm a makeup artist, and this is what I
Right.
do. So it was challenging for us in terms of just our actual work industry, because it was taking retail in a completely different direction, which it has. But again, working on both ends of that, the things I've got to experience are when the girl comes in, the 16-year-old girl, and she's like, okay, I want what Jeffree Star was using, and I think that my mom needs to have the Becca highlighter, and all of this stuff. And it's like, okay, what that one look that works for you isn't necessarily going to work on someone else. Like, your mother is more mature, she has texture in her skin. If I throw a powder highlighter on her, we're going to see every single pore, line, and anything that she has on her face. Let's go with a cream. Or some girls would be like, and this part was really sad, just like, I had like one 13-year-old girl tell me I'm ugly. Can you make me look like the girls on YouTube? And,
Oh no.
it kind of broke my heart because I was like, you're beautiful. You don't have to look like that. Um,
Hmm.
so I actually have people on YouTube that I do watch and I do enjoy. And I've developed a new respect for them having to do my channel myself because it's a lot of work. Like it takes hours, so I tip my hat to them on that. But I just think there's more to it than just that one look that they're showing
Right.
and I try to keep it real in terms of products. You know, I'm not going to recommend something that I don't believe in. The
Right.
same way I would never work for a line that if I don't believe in their product, and I don't, so yeah, there are influencers I like, but I tend to watch more of like, I go to the narcissist channel. I like watching the global artists do their thing. And then I have old school ones that like I absolutely love. A lot of the celebrity makeup artists I watch.
Right. Okay. The next one we have, I
Apples and
lost. I'm a
yeah, kind of.
comment. Let's see. And then the next question we have is, what powders do you suggest to minimize makeup transferring?
So I have been on a hunt for the best finishing powder for about 6 years. And the closest I had come was Laura Mercier. And I love that powder. It is amazing. But then I found this one. So, guys, if you want a setting powder that works and doesn't look like you have powder all over your face, right here. Like Hourglass and most of Hourglass products, I'm just any powder they have just is beautiful and it works with lighting. So it basically looks like you have a Instagram filter on your face after you put it on. So I would recommend that one. And that one I like too because it's lighter, or it feels lighter because it's finely milled. So like with the summer coming up and everything, you won't feel like your face is falling apart.
Right.
Yeah.
Good. Let's see. Got another question. How do you get clear skin?
um, well, first off, and it isn't that easy sometimes. Stress will come out in so many different ways. So if you're under any amount of stress, sometimes you're going to see that in your skin.
Yeah.
Um, Drink lots of water. Always be drinking water because you always want to
Your
flush out your
best friend.
system.
Yes. Yes.
Um, Skincare. Have a good cleanser, a good toner, a good moisturizer, and a good exfoliant to use twice a week. And I promise you, if you do that morning and night, you will see a huge difference in your skin. And then it also depends on the age bracket that I'm talking to. Like, again, I'm 47. So my skin's going to be a little different in terms of elasticity, collagen, all of those things. So Hum is a brand that they carry in Sephora. I think they have it in Ulta too, Blue Mercury. They make tablets for just about everything. So you can get collagen tablets. You can get like nighttime vitamins that will do everything in the world for your skin. So there are so many different things you can do now to keep your skin looking good. Stay out of the sun. I know you're in
Yeah.
California, but the sun will
All right.
wreck your skin. So
Okay.
always, and even in the winter when you think you don't need to, you should never leave without putting on an SPF.
All right. All right, so we got 15 seconds left. And thank you so much, Francisca, for joining us
Thank
today. I'm going
you
to
for
save this
asking
to
me.
our, of course, going to save it to our story. So it can be on for 24 hours. I got 5 seconds. Thank you guys so much. And we will have a chat on Thursday with another artist. Thank you guys. Have a great